I used to ask where my mother was when I don't know, it was about, well, when I was put in the orphan's home, and I refused to go into the orphan's home. I mean, I said, I saw the orphan, I could read at 10, orphan, and I put my feet down on the sidewalk, and they had to drag me in. I said, I'm not an orphan. And so, I thought, well, she's dead somewhere, and then later some people said, well, it's better you forget about your mother. I said, but where is my mother? And I said, well, it's better you forget about her. She's dead. So I was told that. So whatever, invented, I don't know what they mean by it. It was all kind of vague. It was such a bright, cheerful place.
According to McCall.
I guess it is now. They've made a lot of improvements. I used to sit up in the window and cry because I'd look over and I'd see RKO, and I knew my mother had worked there, and she'd been a cutter there, and all the kids were asleep. I used to sit up in the window, and at night, and as I say, when everyone was asleep, and when I went there to work, during Clash by Night, I stood there and I wanted to see back to see if I could see the orphanage, but you can't. It's too many sound stages in the way, and office buildings and homes.
Done for you, or
yes, it's a very happy time. I'm happy to be back. As I was to my hometown.
Yes.
Well, you're a happy girl now. When you go to London?
Yes, I'm much happier now. I'm very pleased.
Is it true that you submitted a list of directors that you would work with? We only know the rumors we hear, you know.
I would rather say that I have director approval, and that is true.
This you think is important?
Yes, it is. Very important to me.
Marilyn, are you happy to come back and do this picture? Are you pleased with the bus stop?
Oh, yes, very much. I'm looking forward to working with Josh Logan and doing the picture, and it's good to be back.
Was he your selection as a director?
20th Century Fox selected him, and I have director approval, and they asked if I would approve of him, and definitely
you did. So you're very happy. You think you're going to make a very good picture?
I hope it will be a good picture.
Do you feel, you said you wanted to grow. Do you feel you have grown?
Well, I hardly know how to answer that, since they misinterpret that, meaning
I'm not
in inches or something.
I'm not talking about Well, Marilyn, speaking of measurements, are they still the same as when you left? Have you gained weight? Have you lost weight?
I think I'm about the same.
About the same.
Yes.
Nobody has any complaints.
I don't know.
Speak up, boys. You're wearing a high-neck dress now. The last time I saw you wear it. Is this a new Marilyn, a new style?
No, I'm the same person, but it's a different suit.
Because it is such a highly cooperative enterprise, this award is not given to an individual. It goes to a sound recording department. Those nominated are All About Eve, 20th Century Fox; Cinderella, Walt Disney Productions, RKO Radio; Louisa, Universal International; our very own Samuel Goldwyn Productions, RKO Radio; and Trio, J. Arthur Rank, Sydney Box, Paramount British. The envelope, please. The winner, All About Eve.
The sound of... You've been here, Miss Monroe?
Since the beginning of the trial.
Just staying in the house here?
That's right.
Has the trial upset your personal life to any degree, Miss Monroe?
I would like to say that I'm fully confident that in the end my husband will win this case.
And it didn't upset your professional career at all? Didn't stop anything you were working on at the time?
No, I haven't been working recently.
And what are your plans when you return to New York?
Well, we hope to go back to our normal life.
Or is somebody going to...
Would you get in closer? Do you want to be questioned, or do you want to make a statement?
Why don't you begin with a statement saying you're sorry about the accident that
Somebody
happened here
should
today,
question you.
and go on from there. I think it would be covered much more simply.
Somebody should question you.
I think, why don't you just...
All right.
All right.
Look, the way we always work.
I'll put it now to answer what I can answer
Yes.
this.
All right. He can, if he doesn't want to make a comment, he simply says no comment. There's nobody that's forcing him to it.
Who's going to question you?
We'll all three question.
All right, fine.
This is the way we always work.
Mr. Miller, everyone is interested in your plans in that big question. Now, can you tell us where and when?
Well, we just had a terrible accident on this road as a result of the mobs that have been coming by here. And I knew that was going to happen, at least I suspected it was, because these roads were made for horse carts and not for automobiles, and people who don't know them oftentimes smash up around here. And I asked the press to assemble all at once today so that the pictures could be taken that are wanted, in the hope that that could be avoided every day in the week.
Plans are after your marriage. Do you intend to continue your career?
July 13th, I'm going to England. The Sleeping Prince with Olivier.
Mm-hmm. And what about, I'm wondering about after your marriage then, after this picture, do you intend to come back here and continue work here in this country?
Well, that depends. Probably so.
Mr. Miller, have you heard yet on your passport?
No, I haven't.
Mr. Miller, about that, the House Committee gave you 10 days, I believe, to give the names of the people you didn't give when you were at the hearing down there. Have you any comment about that at this time?
Business between the Congress and myself, and I don't think that it is proper for me to make any comment at this time.
Well, would you answer this, Mr. Miller? At the time you refused to name names, would you tell us why you refused to?
It's all in the record.
Well, I wonder if you'd state it here.
I'm not in a situation now where I would want to go into that. I think it's all quite clearly stated in the record of the Congress, and I'll stand by that.
Miss Monroe, could you tell us what kind of a wedding you're going to have?
Very quiet, I hope.
Do you feel certain at this time that you will be able to get away to go to England?
I feel certain I'm going to try awfully hard.
And in the event that you are not able to go, will Miss Monroe still go?
Oh, sure. She's got to go. She's got a contract to go.
Well, that means you may not have a honeymoon together then.
I think we will.
I hope.
A living American man?
Yes.
Are you in the theatrical field?
No.
1 down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Well, nobody's ever had a hand like that but Eisenhower and Monroe. Are you in the sports field?
In a way.
Might be out of season by now. Are you a member of a pennant-winning baseball team?
No, I'm not now.
Oh.
Oh, steady now. 2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Are you a Yankee?
A what?
A Yankee?
Yes.
Mr. Allen.
Are you an outfielder?
Yes.
And probably the fanciest one of his time that has recently been admitted to the Hall of Fame, the Hall of Baseball Fame, Joe DiMaggio.
Joe DiMaggio.
He gave himself away.
Oh, Joe, that now just did us in, you know.
Yes, well, John, all I could say is I was talking to the lady out there, and she was telling me that for 5 years you've been trying to get me on the show, and I'm very surprised they got me so fast.
Oh, go ahead and said no. You've just come back from Italy.
Yes, I did, Rome.
What did you do when you were there?
I was a real tourist on this particular trip. I just about visited everything of interest, and, of course, I'm not going to tell you what I didn't visit.
Oh, no, I don't want you to do that.
Joe, may I ask, which one was more interesting, Claire Booth Luce or Gino Prado?
I think they were both very interesting, Dennis.
You know, Joe's going into diplomacy soon. He's going to join our diplomacy
He's got a
overseas.
very good start right now.
But you did see Mr. Prato at home when he got to Italy. I suppose it must have been a wonderful moment for him and for everybody who was with him at the time.
Yes, it was very interesting. As a matter of fact, he did tell me to come up to his room one time. He just wanted to rest and relax and talk things over. I know that they have been running him quite ragged because of, from what I understand, they are using them to publicize several little things. And he was telling me he'd like to get home. And I know that his wife certainly wants to get home very badly.
He's getting homesick, huh?
I have a pair of shoes locked in his store. I'd like to get
What kind of a girl was Norma Jean?
She was a very shy person. She was a very sweet person. She had a sweet voice. She was a tender person.
And was very mature for her age.
She was tall and she was smooth in dancing, and she was a good talker. She didn't talk like a little kid.
She was too young really to get married. It wasn't that we were not in love. She was just, I thought 16 years old was too young to get married, but she was fully mature physically. At that time, she just wanted to be a good wife, and she wanted to be secure, and she wanted to be loved, and she wanted to be feel like she belonged to somebody. That was very important to her.
But that's not how Marilyn felt. When the marriage took place, I was just 16. In the state of California, you can marry at 16, but it was arranged when I was 15, Marilyn said. I didn't know anything about marriage, especially the sex part of it. Even Marilyn's friends noticed that Marilyn didn't feel comfortable. She was scared. For my information, she even asked if it were possible for her to never have sex with Jim. Could they just be friends, she wondered? Martin Evans, a close friend of Marilyn, said. However,
You've read there was some actor that once said about me that kissing me was like kissing Hitler. Well, I think that's, his problem. And if I really have to do intimate love scenes with an individual who really has these kind of feelings towards me, then my fantasy can come into play. In other words, out with him, in with somebody else. There's somebody else there. Not him. He was never there.
I haven't seen Robert Mitchum since 1942, 43, something like that.
I have never heard one woman who ever worked with Marilyn ever say one cross or derogatory word about her. And that in itself is monumental. Have you? Never.
She had just a tremendous amount of sympathy and empathy and feeling for people, situations, and she was always a little unhappy and mad at the big boys,
Never a hairdresser, never a wardrobe woman, or you never heard, or a woman with whom she was working, you have never heard one woman say a cross word about her.
She was certainly not your dumb blonde at all. She was a very bright, sensitive girl.
The crew loved her, honest to God. She was a darling to the crew.
She had a lot of empathy and understanding, and she had a fey sense of humor, which was really very cute. And they all adored her.
For her loyalty, she was immensely loyal, to a fault, really, to her friends, to anyone she knew. She had great sympathies for people. She was really as straight and decent as you could want. She was a very humorous girl. Actually, one of the funniest girls on The Natural that I've ever met, really. Funny girl she was, really. And, but she tried very hard, and she felt inadequate, truly, She had physical problems, and which certainly didn't encourage her confidence,